Good evening, everyone. My name is Debbie Singleton, and I'm an independent Stamp Up demonstrator. I come to you live Monday evenings at 7 p.m. With the time change, it'll be later for people in the East. With the West, they caught up to us, but it's technically 7 p.m. in Arizona time. I hope everyone had a great weekend and a great day. I sure did. And of course, our weather here today, especially, was wonderful. I think we got almost to 80. I didn't know what the final weather was, but it's beautiful here. And this weekend was gorgeous as well. So I just enjoyed our weather here and didn't do much, but it was gorgeous. We're getting ready to head to Utah in a couple of weeks. So I think it will be kind of chilly there, but I'm not sure. But oh my goodness, it'll be crazy. Well, St. Patrick's Day is, I think, like next weekend. I think it's, next Sunday. So Stampin' Up! This particular celebration and the annual catalog didn't have anything in it for St. Patrick's Day. I think it was last year or the year before. We had a punch that was a shamrock, and we had, good evening, Mom. Thanks for joining. We had a punch that was a shamrock, and we had a whole stamp set that had Happy St. Patrick's Day. We had all kinds of stuff that was St. Patrick's Day, but this annual catalog and nothing had anything that was shamrocky or anything. So I went on the hunt to look for something that we could make that was shamrock related. So I found something that we could do, and that was really fun to do. So I put together a whole packet of things that we could do to make a shamrock card. So I made mine. The only thing that you had to have bought the paper beforehand because I don't usually like to use something that isn't current. So two things aren't current. So the DSP is that I'm using, and you could use anything that you have. It's the Garden Walk DSP. So that was in one of the celebration catalogs. But that's this really pretty paper, and it had all kinds of flowers on it. You could use any one of these flower papers or the line paper. And we do have some that has different lines on it that's in the current catalog, but I didn't like the greens. So like this green, it is the Pretty Peacock, but I wanted to stick with like the actual green of like garden green or something like that. So I dug around and I found this really pretty flower paper. And it actually used garden green. So that's what I went with. So I dug around. You can dig around in your paper stash and find any paper that you have, and then you can use that. And then the only other thing that I used, and we just finished with celebration, and if you didn't purchase if you didn't get it for free, because if you bought $100 worth of product, you got the stamp and the embossing. It's the Softly Sophisticated 3D embossing folder, and you got the stamp set. If you bought $100 worth, you can use any embossing that you want, but I loved this print that it does. It's so awesome. So those are the only two things that technically are not current. Everything else is. So right now until the end of April, you can purchase the Adoring Hearts. It's a whole set. So the Adoring Hearts dies and the 3D hybrid embossing folder. So you put the embossing folder, this is the embossing folder, and then you put the die set on top, and you do it all as one, which is super cool. So you put these together. There we go. So the embossing folder, and then you take the dies and they intertwine. So you put that in there like so, and it kind of fits in there. So it kind of, you can tell that it fits in the grooves. Put your piece of paper in here, and I think it's like a 6x8 or something like that. And then you close this, put this in the stamp and embossing machine, and then it comes out, and then you get 9 of these little embossed little hearts, which is, I used on one of my other cards, which is, they're just super amazing. So that's what I used to make our clover, was those. But I just thought I'd show you that. And then I used the Sending Smiles die stamp set to get good luck your way. And it actually says all the good luck your way, but I didn't want that whole saying on there, so I can show you how we're going to stamp that so it doesn't say the whole thing on there. That is also current. So this is the card we're going to make. And I did it all in layers. So I did this whole, this is thick with basic white, and then out of this paper here, I picked Blueberry Bushel to be my first layer, and then Garden Green, and then I embossed that. And then this first card here, that's going to go on here. I did Blueberry Bushel, and then the second card is Poppy Parade, because that's Poppy Parade in there. And then the Garden Walk DSP. And then this card here, I did Blueberry Bushel, and then Poppy Parade, and then white, and then this is our Shamrock. And then I did down here, I didn't realize when I pulled this out, can't even see the green on the other side because it's on green. So then the card we're going to do, I'm going to do Blueberry Bushel and put that on there. Then that's our card, and then you can put anything you want on the inside. But I was like, well, this will make a shamrock, and you can't really even tell that they're hearts. But since we don't have anything in the catalog that is shamrock at all, we have to make our own shamrocks. So I thought, well, okay. And nothing says Happy St. Patrick's Day, so you could do, we have letters that you could put, you know, Happy St. Patrick's Day all over the card if you wanted to, but the letters are pretty good size, so it would take up half the card. But she did this good luck your way, and I'm like, oh, that would work perfect. So like, okay. So simple card, but I thought that would be really nice. And you can pick whatever colors you want to use, but I wanted to use the greens. So, oh, thanks. Yeah, I liked how it got layered and stuff. So, so we're gonna just layer it. So we're gonna just put it together, and then I'm gonna show you how I stamped that. And I forgot to put it on thick whisper white, or a thick basic white. I'm calling it the old color. And you definitely need it on a thicker paper than this one. But since I'd already cut this out, I was like, all right. But you can definitely tell that you need it on a thicker paper especially because we have all these layers. So it's a little flimsy since we put all the layers on there. I'm going to give that a good, and then we're going to so we're going to layer. So I'm going to just, again, since we embossed this, you can kind of tell which side. This is the raised bumpy side, and that's the side that I want on here. So I'm going to put the glue on this side and then adhere that. We got to go watch my grandson play soccer. He's 3, and that was absolutely amazing. He had a soccer game, so it was pretty funny watching 3-year-olds run around the soccer field. They don't keep score, but his team lost, but I think they came in pretty close. But it was funny watching the 3-year-olds run around the soccer field. And this one kid on his team, he insisted on, when he finally would get the ball and kick it to make a goal, he kicked it to the other side of the not his goal side. He did make a goal at least, so that was kind of funny, but it was so cute watching him play. He loved it. He absolutely loves playing soccer. So it was an amazing watching him. So we had such a good time watching him Saturday play his soccer game. So he practices on Monday night, so he practices tonight, and then he plays soccer on Saturday. So it was so awesome. All right, so then we can layer this on top of here. And I did really tight layers so that they just barely peek through. So the blueberry bushel is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then the garden green is 4 by 5 1/4. So then so that you just barely see the colors, but it makes it really nice. All right, so then we have these layers. So this blueberry bushel is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. The Popy Parade is 2 5/8 by 1 1/8. And this DSP, the garden walk, is 2 1/2 by 4. So we can layer all these on. So let's first put the Popy Parade on the blueberry bushel. And again, these all are very tight. So it's really hard to get them all on straight, I realize, because I have such a hard time doing that too. So I've tried now to actually put this in my hand since they're so tight. Usually I would lay it down. But this seems to be a little bit easier since they're little edges. Not that that's much straighter, but it's a little bit. Right, then we can do this one. And you actually could do this side too, because it is plain. So, I mean, that would work as well. But I liked just to have a little bit of color to it. So, I mean, if you want it to just be really plain all the way around, that would be okay too. Okay. And then we can layer this as well. So this blueberry bushel is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. This Popy Parade is 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. And this white is 3 by 3. We can layer this all on. Now I'm working on my grandson's birthday cards for this weekend. We're having both of their birthdays this weekend. So their theme is race cars. Well, we don't have too many race cars. But I think I've come up with a cute card. And I think I've kind of figured it out. So I'm working on that today, figuring out what kind of card I'm going to make them. All right. I started on that. One already turned 3, and our other one is, the other one's gonna, wait, one turned 4 and the other one is gonna turn 3. I can figure out what ages they're gonna turn. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now we have everything all layered on there. Now let's build our shamrock. So I already cut them out, like I showed you. So I already cut these out, and I even have 3 left, and I can then make another card. So again, these are the same. They're kind of raised and some aren't. So it's kind of hard to tell which ones are raised. There's one that isn't. So this one's raised. And this side, this is more raised. This one's more raised. So what I used, of course, is I finally got to use my dimensionals, because if I use dimensionals here and here, that would raise it up way too much. So I'm going to flip these over so that I know that these are the sides that I want to use my dimensionals on. Okay, so put my dimensionals on. All right, so I'm not good at cutting out a stem. And so if you happen to have the apple punch that makes the apples, we had a stamp set that you could make apples with, and that came with a punch. And so I cheated, and I made my stem with the apple punch, because I cannot cut this out. Some people can freak cut that, and I cannot do that. So if you can free cut that, more power to you. Otherwise, there's a couple of our punches, if you have them that kind of look like stems, you can use those, because I can't do that. But there are people that can free cut those, and they're good at that. So that would be good. But that's how I did mine, was I used the apple stem. And I did mine with the apple stem. So and then I don't have any more done. Okay. So I kind of, you laid these out a little bit. Oops, this is sticking to me. And this is how this is going to go on here with overlapping. So I kind of laid this out, and I put these down, but didn't like completely stick them too much. But they are going to overlap a little, like so. And okay, and then I cut out the stem already, like I said, because I couldn't cut out the stem. So I already punched it. And I did put a baby, actually I cut some of our little ones You can see here, I did cut some of our little ones in half even, because I think that it just was, even the little one was too much, so I did cut it in half. And that seemed to work, I think. Whoops, I don't think I cut it all the way. Put that back on there. Okay, so we're going to use that one. Because even the little one would be too big, because see, I cut that one in half and now it fits on there. So now we're going to put our stem. There we go. And then now that looks good, so I'm going to press that down. Okay, and then the dies that to Descending Smiles, you get two sizes. So you get one of these and you get one this long. So this short one, I'm going to stamp all the good luck your way, but I don't want all on there. So I'm going to take a Post-it and I'm going to stamp in Garden Green. And I'm going to try to stamp just the good luck your way on the stamp pad. And yes, I did get my thumb in there. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this over and kind of decipher about where I want this to be. And I'm going to, oops. And then I'm going to stamp on here. There we go. But I put this paper over, so just in case I got some ink over there, so I didn't get ink on here. Then this is a little bit long. It's a little bit long, and it would take up this whole place here. So I just cut, so I just cut a piece off. And then I just put a dab of glue. Decided how much I wanted to show. And then I cut this end. Doing the same thing. And I put another dab of glue over here. and deciding how much I want this side to show. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to put dimensionals, but I'm going to use the baby dimensionals because the other one is too big. So I do have to put the baby dimensionals on. Okay. All right, so I'm first going to put this on. And last time, I think I did it over this way too far, so I'm going to put this over this way a little bit more. I'm going to put this. And then we're going to put this one on. Yeah, that's better. I like that better. Had this one over too far. Well, that looks so much better. Okay, now we can put this on. Okay. Oh yeah, the blue shows up much better. Okay, that looks better to have the blue because then it doesn't blend in with the green. And then I'm going to put some dots. I think so. I use these Tencel Gems 4-pack. It says it's blueberry bushel. So I don't want it on there. I think I'm going to just put one here. And I think I'm going to put one up here. Yeah, I like that better. And I'm going to put it on there. All right. Needed something on there. So here's our cards. Yeah, that green kind of went in the background too much. So I was like, alrighty. And I didn't put anything on there. So, but see, that does look like a shamrock, even though they're hearts, but they look like shamrocks when you look at them. So I thought it was a great idea. So at least we can make a shamrock card so that you can at least send, and then inside you can always write, Happy St. Patrick's Day, so you have something to say St. Patrick's Day to. Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm glad. So I will see you guys next Monday. And I'm not sure what I will be making yet, but I'll figure out something. So I'm glad that you like them. If you need anything, feel free to give me a shout. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Have a great week. It's supposed to be beautiful weather here in Arizona. Hopefully where you're at, it's great too. Otherwise, take care. Thank you so much for joining. Bye-bye.